Hey guys, our devotion today comes from Genesis chapter 8. In this chapter, we see God bring Noah and his family through the flood out into safety. But before we look into that, let's remember to be in prayer for our church family. Today, we are praying for Richard and Ruth Nicely. So, Noah's deliverance. He trusted in the Lord, he built the ark, he has been careful. God's wrath, God brings him and his family through to the other side. A few things that just stand out to me about this chapter as I was reading it today. First of all, we see Noah as he is sending out these birds to make sure that the water has receded. It's like he's not even looking out. He doesn't. Noah took God's command to stay in this ark seriously, and he's been through this flood. Noah's not risking coming out of this ark and experiencing the wrath of God. He's obedient here, and he waits until this final word where God says, all right, now you can come out of the ark. He waits until God's judgment is finally complete. I think we see just some reverence here on Noah's part. He wants to live in obedience to the Lord. And we see God bring his family out, and he makes this covenant, a covenant which is going to be explored a little bit more in the next chapter. But that God is not going to bring destruction, that he's going to sustain the earth, the seasons, things are going to go on, and that he's going to withhold his wrath. He's going to withhold his punishment from now on. Of course, we know until that end judgment comes. For my part, as I read this, I continually think about the salvation that we have through Jesus Christ. We know that the time of final judgment is coming, and just because life goes on and we see sin abounding in the world and we wonder how much longer, God, are you going to wait? Well, it's part of the covenant that God made here with Noah. Even though God says, I know that man's thoughts are evil, I know that he's wicked, I know that he's going to turn away from me again. And part of what this was that happened with Noah, this judgment, it was an example for the rest of us to understand that judgment is coming. God's not going to use a flood this time. He said that. He's not going to do it in the same way. The next time judgment is coming in fire. But we have this story of Noah's deliverance. If we want deliverance from God's judgment, well, it starts with putting our faith in God, like Noah put his faith in God. But there's only one ark, and that is the ark of Jesus Christ that can bring us through to the other side so that we can live eternally in the promises of God and live in the covenant. So I am thankful for this passage today. It's a small passage, but again, another opportunity just for us to think about the story that God is playing out here, showing who he is today, the deliverer, the one who it's his wrath, that he poured out, but he's the one who's able to deliver us. And we see he set up this covenant, and that's the covenant that's being held today until that final judgment. God's being patient with us. God's waiting for us to put our faith in Jesus Christ. If God spoke to you something out of this chapter today, I'd ask that you share it with us on Facebook, share it with us on YouTube. Let's minister to one another. God bless you guys.